Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck was the first to postulate the theory of evolution in his famous work Philosophy Physiologique in the year 1909. The two principles of Lamarckian theory are the theory of use and disuse. Organs that are used often will increase in size and that are not used will degenerate. Neck in giraffe is an example of use and absence of limbs in snakes. The theory of inheritance of acquired characters. The characters are developed during the lifetime of organism called acquired characters and these are then inherited. The main objection to Lamarckism theory of acquired characters was disapproved by August Weismann, who conducted experiments on mice for 20 generations by cutting their tails and breeding them. All mice born were with tail. Weismann proved his germplasm theory that change in the somatoplasm will not be transferred to the next generation, but changes in the germplasm will be inherited. Neo-Lamarckism. The followers of Lamarck, Neo-Lamarckists like Pope, Osborne, Packard, and Spencer tried to explain Lamarck's theory on a more scientific basis. They considered that adaptations are universal. Organisms acquire new structures due to their adaptations to the changed environmental conditions. They argued that external conditions stimulate the somatic cells to produce certain secretions which reach the sex cells through the blood and bring about the variations in the offspring. Charles Darwin explained the theory of evolutionistic origin of species by natural selection. During his journey around the earth, he made extensive observations of plants and animals. He noted variety and remarkable similarities among organisms and their adaptive features to cope up with their environment. Overproduction, prodigality of production. All organisms increase their population in larger number. Salmon fish produces about 28 million eggs during breeding season and all of them hatch. The seas would be filled with salmon in few generations. Elephant, the slowest breeder that can produce 6 young ones in its lifetime, can produce 6 million descendants at the end of 750 years in the absence of any check. Struggle for existence. Organisms struggle for food, space and mate. As these become a limiting factor, competition exists among the members of the population. Darwin denoted struggle for existence in three ways: intraspecific struggle between the same species for food, mate, space and mate; interspecific struggle with different species for food and space; struggle with the environment to cope with the climatic variations, flood, earthquakes, drought, etc. Universal occurrence of variations. No two individuals are alike. There are variations even in identical twins. Even the children born of the same parents differ in color, height, behavior. The useful variations found in an organism help them to overcome struggle, and such variations are passed to the next generation. According to Darwin, nature is the most powerful selective force. He compared origin of species by natural selection to a small isolated group. Darwin believed that the struggle for existence resulted in the survival of the fittest. Such organisms become better adapted to the changed environment. Darwin failed to explain the mechanism of variation. Darwinism explains the survival of the fittest but not the arrival of the fittest. He focused on small fluctuating variations that are mostly non-heritable. He did not distinguish between somatic and germinal variations. He could not explain occurrence of vestigial organs or specialization of some organs like large tusks in existing extinct mammals, oversized anthers in the extinct Irish deer. Neo-Darwinism is the interpretation of Darwinism evolution through natural selection as it has been modified since it was proposed. New facts and discoveries about evolution have been led to modifications of Darwinism and is supported by Wallace, Heinrich, Haeckel, Weismann and Mendel. This theory emphasizes that change in frequency of genes in population arises due to mutation, variation, isolation, natural selection. HugoDeVries put forth the mutation theory. Mutation are sudden random changes that uh, occur that is not heritable. D. Rice explained carried out his experiments in the evening primrose plant and observed variations during them due to mutation. According to D. Rice, sudden and large variations were responsible for the origin of new species, whereas Lamarck and Darwin believed in gradual accumulation of all variations as the causative factors in the origin of new species. Hugo D. Rice believed that mutations are random and directionless, but Darwinian variations are small and directional. animal. HugoDeVries believed that speciation are due to mutation and called saltation, single-step loss mutation. Mutations or discontinuous variation are transmitted to generations. In natural breeding population, mutations occur from time to time. There are no immediate forms as they are fully fledged. They are strictly subjected to natural selection. Modern synthetic theory. Several write Fisher, Mayer, Huxley, Darwin-Ski, Simpson, and Haeckel explain natural selection in the light of post-Darwinian discoveries. According to this theory, gene mutations, chromosomal mutations, genetic recombinations, natural selection, reproductive isolation are the five basic factors involved in the process of organic evolution. Gene mutation refers to the changes in the structure of the gene. It is called gene mutation. It alters the phenotype of an organism and produces variations in their and the offspring. Chromosomal mutation refers to the changes in the structure of chromosomes due to deletion, addition, depletion, or inversion or translocation. This alters the phenotype of an organism and produces variations in the offspring. Genetic recombination is due to crossing over of genes during meiosis. This brings about genetic variations in the individuals of the same species and leads to heritable variations. Natural selection does not produce any genetic variation, but when such variations occur, it favors some genetic changes while rejecting others. Driving force of evolution. Reproductive isolation helps in preventing interbreeding between related organisms. Natural selection can be explained clearly through the industrial mechanism. Industrial melanism is a classical case of natural selection exhibited by the peppered moth, Buston betuleria. They were available in two forms, white-winged and black-winged. Before industrialization, peppered moth, both white and black colored, were common in England. Pre-industrialization witnessed more white-winged moths than dark-winged moths because of the dense growth of white-colored lichens on trees. They escaped from predators due to the white background. Post-industrialization caused the tree trunks to become dark due to smoke and soot let out from the industries. The lichen population also decreased because they could not grow in polluted areas. The white moths were easily identified by their predators, and as the background color turned black due to soot and smoke, while the black-winged moths camouflaged with the dark background. Hence, the dark moth flood population was selected, and their number increased when compared to the white moths. Nature offered positive selection pressure to the black colored moths. The above proof shows that in population, organisms that can adapt will survive and produce more progenies, resulting in increase in population through natural selection. Artificial selection is a byproduct of human exploitation of forests, oceans, fisheries, and the use of pesticides, herbicides, or drugs. For hundreds of years, humans have selected various types of dogs, all of which are variants of the single species of dog. If human beings can produce new varieties in short time, then nature, with the vast resources and long duration, can easily produce new species by selection. The evolutionary process which produces new species diverged from a single ancestral form becomes adapted to newly invented habitats is called adaptive radiation. Adaptive radiations are best exemplified in closely related groups that are evolved in relatively short time. Darwin's finches and Australian marsupials are the best examples of adaptive radiation. When one adaptive radiation occurs in an isolated geographical area and the same structural and functional similarity, it is due to convergent evolution. Darwin's finches, their common ancestor, arrived on the Galapagos about 2 million years ago. During that time, Darwin's finches have evolved into 14 recognized species differing in body size, beak shape, and feeding behavior. Changes in the size and form of the beak have enabled different species to utilize different food resources such as insects, seeds, nectar from cactus flowers, and blood from iguanas, all driven by natural selection. Marsupials in Australia and placental mammals in North America have two subclasses of mammals. They have adapted similar to a particular food source, local migratory skill or climate. They were separated from the common ancestor more than 300 million years ago. Over 200 species of marsupials live in Australia, with many fewer species of placental animals. The marsupials have undergone adaptive radiation to occupy the diverse habitats in Australia, just as the placental mammals have radiated across North America.